Yes, so Hairless here. Today we have a Patreon request, so thank you for this one. This is two groups performing with each other. Parcels, a group from Australia. They had a lot of very fun images to choose from. And AnnenMayKantereit. We have done a video before on them, which I really loved. It was a song called Als ich ein Kind war, a live performance that they did in Berlin. I loved it so much, in fact, that for that month, I actually used the audio for the background music in my month-end ratings video that I do every month. That was actually 1 year ago today, so back in April of 2024. So it's taken a while to revisit them, but here we are. I'm really excited for this one. It's an iconic song, Can't Get You Out of My Head, originally by Kylie Minogue. I was listening to it earlier to refamiliarize myself with it, and I'd completely forgotten how catchy it is. It's seriously smooth. So let's see what these two groups, one from Germany, one from Australia, do with this song. Those dance moves. This is cool. This is cool. If you had seen my previous video on AnnenMayKantereit, I'll just call them AMK for the sake of ease, and you didn't remember who they were, well, it's these three. So you've got this guy here with the cap, this one in the blue shirt, the back, and then the lead singer here. The lead singer, very distinctive voice, very recognizable. I just can't get you out of my head. That grit in his voice, it sounds quite hoarse, and he does have a very deep voice, believe it or not. And if you haven't seen my previous video on that, then please do check that out either now or after this. I'll leave a link to that one in the pinned comment. And his neck looks like it's going to explode every time he sings. It's crazy. All right, let's do our first pause here. There are some really cool things going on here, especially with the harmony. It's not too dissimilar from the original, but just some little nuances. So if you don't want to hear my thoughts or analysis, then go to the timestamp. So first things first, let's just quickly go over the instrumentation, what we're hearing. So the beat. That's in this little machine here that the guy in the pink shirt is playing. From what we're seeing, the percussionist of AMK, well, we'll see later on, so keep an eye out for the little device he has. It's quite cool. And then, of course, we've got various guitars spread between Parcels and the one AMK member and the one other AMK member. He's the lead singer. And it looks like 5 of the... Is that 7 of them here? The dance moves, they're great. Of the 8 of them, sorry, because we also have the Parcels guy in the cap sat down here. So having a setup like this enables the lovely harmonies that we get. I'll touch on them in a little bit. So we have a couple of keyboards there, and the guitars, you have your bass guitar and then several regular guitars. It's actually a couple of bass guitars here and here as well, this guy with the long hair. So overall, the choice of instruments, how they're set up, I think it really is quite groovy. I also love where they're filming this. Does it say in the description? No, it doesn't. Really cool setting though. Really cool setting. This was filmed the end of 2019, so just before that virus and the ensuing pandemic. So let's go from the off again. Their key is C minor. The original song is 1 note up, D minor. I've always found the harmony quite interesting in this song, and it's because of the upper harmony you have in the other voice. And I'll quickly explain why that is. So the main melody, the upper voice, and the chords, la 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 la, la 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 la. So the chord here is A minor. A is note 1, so this is note 2, note 3, note 4, note 5, etc. The upper voice that we played earlier ends on this note. In the chord of A, this is the second note, the supertonic, which is also the 9th note because note number 8 is A again, so it's like a new octave. So when you hear chords A7, it's because it has the 7th note included. A9, it has the 9th note included, which this is. The 9th note and the 2nd note are the same. So it creates this interesting chord. Now, if we listen to what they do here, and bear in mind it's a different key, but I will transpose it. They have several voices in harmony there, and again we have the highest voice, which stands out and makes the chord a bit strange, which is la 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 la. So this is the chord they end on. And if they had the 9th note in there, like Kylie does in the original, it would be this. But it's not. That upper part ends here, which in this chord, where this is note number 1, is the 7th note, creating a minor 7th chord instead of a 9th chord. So they're both peculiar chords in the original song and in this, but this is a different peculiar chord. You'll notice as well, this is kind of closer to the rest of the notes than having the 9th in there. And having multiple voices all singing in harmony, they're all using quite a light, airy tone, a very soft voice. It just makes the harmony sound that little bit tighter. Otherwise, though, the chord progression is the same. They haven't changed too much there. We've got the majority of the iconic bass line. The first singer from Parcels comes in. I just can't get you out of my head, boy, I like his voice. It's not over the top, quite smooth, quite simple, if I can say that. It's nice. And then the keys come in. And I won't go into it in detail, I think we've seen enough of the notes. But when we have these chords in the keyboard and in the guitars, they're never standard chords. So there'll always be a cheeky note in there that will turn it a bit jazzy or a bit funky, such as the 7th note or the 9th note. Not just notes 1, 3, and 5, which make up your standard triads. Just can't get you out of my head. Oh, your loving is all I think about. So, him. This is Henning with his extremely unique and recognizable voice. He does perform some fairly significant melodic adjustments, so he's changing the notes in the melody compared to the original. It starts off subtle in the first phrase. I just can't get you out of my head. Instead of it's repeating the note. And the original melody is kind of repetitive anyway. It kind of just goes between the 3 notes. But here, the same note, it's pretty much as repetitive as you can get. And I often say when you have a repeated note like this, it's catchy because it's easy to remember. You hear it once, you can repeat it. But then the next phrase, he adjusts even more drastically. Oh, your loving is all I think about. Then his verse ends, and I really like their decisions on the harmony here. Their choice to sing no vibrato, all of them straight tone, and it's so in tune, and they just seem so laxed about it as well. There's not constant momentum from each note to the next one. It's like really interesting, but I think it works so well. And then in the keys, you have that chromatic inflection set up. But instead it falls down. And then the top part in the falsetto, I think that's the singer who opened us up. Who opened us up? Who opened the song, of course, going into a classic suspension. The suspension just getting some extra tension in there, then resolving. And Henning here as well, still choosing not to implement any vibrato, none of the voice wobbles. All straight tone, really fitting in style with this music. You know, we're getting used to this style. Quite funky, very smooth. Smooth is going to be my word for this video. Yeah, it's super cool, I think. Let's carry on. Yeah, it's a funky one. It's certainly a funky one. Let's just go back over a few things we heard and then we'll carry on until the end. So on the Set Me Free bit, I think we can all agree in the original song, it's an extremely smooth bit. Here they have done it the same way as Kylie did it in the original. So compared to earlier, where, for example, they had the 7th chord instead of the 9th chord, here they have done the same that she did. And again, it makes the harmony peculiar, but in exactly the same way. So even though it's peculiar, we're kind of familiar with it because it feels the same as the original song, because the harmony is the same. Speaking of the harmony, overall the song is very simple. And by that, I mean there are a few chord changes. A good demonstration of this is watching his hand on the fretboard on the guitar. Basically, when he moves is when the harmony changes, when the chord changes. So there. And there, great, it's covered. But that's it, really, for the majority of the song. It's just 2 chords back and forth. Harmony is really the foundation of all music. Once you have the chords in place, then you start adding in the instruments, the layers. Do you play them as a chord or an arpeggio? What are the rhythms? Do you have percussion? Harmony is the core of all of the music. So only having 2 chords for the most part. You know what? Let me Google the chords of this song. It will be easy to show you because it will kind of show the whole song and what the chords are at which point. Okay, here we are. So there's chord 1, there's chord 2 for the la-la-las at the beginning. And then chord 1, chord 2, chord 1, chord 2, chord 1, chord 2. It's only when you get to this every night bit that we suddenly get a new chord in. And then we get a couple of other new chords. Then back to chord 1, chord 2, chord 1, chord 2, then that first new chord, and that's all for the song. These guys have chosen to keep the harmony the same. They're not introducing new chords or changing the harmony fundamentally, and with that decision comes the danger of it being a bit repetitive or a bit too similar to the original, but it's all of the other choices that they've made that make this into their own version. So yeah, it's kind of similar to the original, but I'm really enjoying it. I think it's very smooth, very funky. From where we carried on. Now we've got Henning thickening out the vocal harmonies we're hearing by adding a lower voice in there, which is definitely not something we get in the original song. And the moments of direct harmony on the melody. I like how particular with it they are. Neither singer is deciding to do these crazy runs to show off. It's very much a team performance here. And ultimately, you know, when you're a band, especially two bands performing with each other, that will always yield the best overall sound. It's just interesting as well. Henning has such a unique voice. It's so distinctive. Parcels as well, I think they have quite a unique sound. They're different sounds, but you put them together. And there are just subtle differences when they finish the phrase, when they come in, ever so subtle. But it works really well together. Let's carry on until the end. If you enjoy these videos or find them helpful, please consider supporting me. Patreon has a bunch of exclusive benefits, behind the scenes videos, additional reaction content, Q&A videos, and more. For a one-time donation, you can donate me a hot chocolate at the Buy Me a Coffee link, or become a YouTube member for these groovy emojis and membership badges. And a huge thank you to these lovely people on the screen now. That's a cool ending, isn't it? The vibration of Henning's voice, not vibrato, it's just like a vibrating presence, completely contrasting the la 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 in the background. Really good example this actually, if you're wanting to pick out the different voices and vocal harmonies. At the end, it's quite a good showcase. If it's la 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 la, well, that final section was very nice and jazzy, wasn't it? Quite funny because literally the moment before I was saying how it's still fairly similar to the original song. Well, that last bit wasn't. Quite improvisatory in feel. The little piano run. And this is interesting because overall, as we saw earlier, it's just two chords repeated over and over. So fundamentally, that's what we're hearing. And then it's just the little quirks, the harmonic quirks, the notes that aren't in the scales that we're getting in these runs, which make it sound a bit more jazzy, make it stand out a little bit. Yeah, overall, I really like that. Again, that word smooth is coming to mind. I was aware of Parcels. Maybe they have some songs that everyone knows or went viral. I don't know. I'll need to look into it. But yeah, a great combination of the two groups. I wonder which one of them reached out to the other one to set this up. And who chose the song? Parcels are Australian. Kylie Minogue also Australian. Anyway, let's leave that one there. Thank you again for this request. And thank you as always for watching. Would appreciate a like, subscribe, a comment. All these things really, really help with the algorithm. Make sure to check out my previous video on AMK in the pinned comment. And I will see you next time.